stage comes, the mothers have to be given in charge of mothers should be given to the grown-up sons. Okay, that's what exactly done by Kardamuni to Devahuti. So at that point, Devahuti, when Kardamuni created so many mansions, so many opulences to enjoy for the mother Devahuti, but at that point, Mother Devahuti come to the point that she was not happy whatever was given to her. And she was in a great grace, morose that, that what is the purpose of this life? Then she went to, and she knows that his son is the Supreme Father. And she went to his son Kapila Deva and seeking the knowledge of transcendental loving service. That's called the glories of the chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam is entitled as the glories of devotional service. So the devotional service I explained, the devotional service definition is engaging our senses for the satisfaction of the Lord. That's a definition of devotional service. Devotional service could be Navavidha Bhakti, right? Prahalad Maharaj explains what are the 9 processes of devotional service. Shravanam starts with Shravanam, then Kirtanam, Shravan Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, all these Navabhakti process. And everything starts with the Shravanam. But steering is the utmost important. By hearing Krishna Katha, the sound vibration, which is called Shabda Praman, that goes to the ear and touches our heart, and our heart gets cleansed. That is the whole purpose of hearing Krishna Katha. That is where our real bhakti begins. Hearing Krishna, hearing about Krishna, first hearing process. If somebody is sleeping, we go and put some smell near nose, the person doesn't get up. And if you do any other activity other than sound, the person won't get up. But the moment you call loudly their name, they get up. Why? Because sound vibration has so much impact on the consciousness that it immediately passes home, right? When somebody is sleeping, we call by name loudly, the person gets up. So it means the shabda, the sound vibration, has very much potency on our consciousness. Same way, the hearing Krishna Katha and hearing about Krishna has the same effect. When you hear about Krishna Katha, the Bhagavatam explains, Srinvatam Sakata Krishna, Punya Sravana Kirtana, Hrudayantasso hi abhadrani, Vidunoti Srisvatam. By hearing Krishna Katha, what happens is the sound vibration goes into our hearts gets cleansed. Krishna puts a big vacuum cleaner in our heart. And the moment you say Krishna, Krishna, hear that sound, our cleaning process starts from the heart of a devotee. That is what the Krishna Katha, right? And any activity, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Archanam, Dasyam, Padasevanam, Atmanivedanam, any Navavidha Bhakti process, we can engage in Krishna service. But everything begins with the Shravanam and Kirtanam. These two are the important qualities that have been mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. In Kali Yuga, if we perfect these two things, Shravanam and Kirtanam, Shravanam means hearing Krishna Katha, Kirtanam means glorification of the Lord. And if these two qualities are primary devotional qualities that we acquire, hearing and glorification, that everything falls in place. Okay, that's how it is. And we have seen through so many chapters, from example, perfect knowledge through surrender, the symptoms of a sadhu, bhakti as ultimate liberation, meditation as a transcendental form, how deity worship, especially the transcendental form, how deity form helps us to focus and surrender ourselves to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, and few devotees, spiritual opulences, right? Then coming to the last before one, taking shelter of Krishna, Supreme Control. Krishna, taking the shelter of Krishna is Supreme Controller. Then here, this is the chapter, third canto, 25th chapter, starting shloka from 41. So these are all the shlokas explained to Mother Devahuti by Kapila Dev, his son, her son. Okay, here in the 41st sloka is explaining that how the shelter, final shelter, that is God Sharanagati, right? Shelter of Krishna, Sharanagati. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains there is a call. He wrote Sharanagati, series of poems. He writes that what is Sharanagati? Sharanagati means that accepting the will of the Lord is Sharanagati. Because when we go with our demands to Supreme Lord and pose our demands, that's not Sharanagati. Sharanagati means whatever Krishna gives as per our necessary requirements, that is accepting the will of the Lord without any questions is a Sharanagati. So taking shelter of Krishna, the supreme controller, the terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself. That means Lord Krishna. So we cannot come out of death and birth if we take any other shelter other than Krishna himself. For I am the Almighty Lord. This is the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is giving direct message. He is not saying this, that. He is telling, come and surrender to me, I'll protect you. Sarvadharman parityeja, mam ekam. Only me. He's not telling any demigod name, this name, that name, and he's not playing games with us. He's telling, mam ekam sharanam raja. Take shelter of me only. Right? The original source of all creation. Krishna is the Sarvakarana Karanam. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Anadiradir Govinda. He is there since time immemorial. Sarva Karana Karanam. Everything happening by his permission only. And also the supreme soul of all souls. Supreme soul of all souls. That is Paramatma. We are all individual souls. But in all our individual souls, a super soul is sitting, that is Paramatma. Okay, that is the Paramatma feature of Sri Lord Sri Krishna in 400 Narayana form expand into all living entities. So if that is the case, then what to speak of greatness about you and me? Everything is driven by him. But there is iota, a small amount of free will is given to each and every living entity. The misuse of that free will is causing us to bind us back into this material. You all say that, hey, Krishna is the supreme, and why he's making me to suffer, why he's acting me, why he's making me to act in such a way. Why, if Krishna is the controller, why he cannot make me devotee? Why is creating all these people? Okay, why can't everybody can become a devotee? Or why he's creating us? Why he can't take us to God to backhead? So it's not that the individual soul, we as a Jivatma, we have certain desires. We are all originally with Krishna. But what we thought was why Krishna has to control us. So we got envious on Krishna and let me live independent of Krishna. We choose to live independent of Krishna. We all came here. Okay. Then we all came here. Then we are suffering now because we choose live independent of Krishna. And Krishna allowed us. Why? Because every living entity has a minute freedom called free will. With that free will, we came here, and with that free will, we are suffering. So we are misusing our free will. Instead of using for Krishna service, we are using that free will to gain pleasure out of our own senses, enjoy independent of Krishna, because we don't like when somebody is controlling our lives. So that's where it kicks in. But ultimately, Krishna is supreme controller, and the amount of free will given to us, which is causing us to bind us in this material world. Okay, and in order to remove that independence of our minute independence, then we surrender to Krishna. Give that free will to Krishna. Krishna, I don't want any free will. Take my free will away. Keep with you. I want to be surrendered to you. I would like to act the way you told me to. In that case, we don't even use that our free will for Krishna. Put our all the senses for the service of Krishna and then forget about free will. They're purely dependent on Krishna's mercy. So that's the taking shelter. What is that? Mat prananadastu sa eva nakara. I am the devotee. Whether you kill me or hit me, I am at your lotus feet, my dear Krishna. So that type of Saranagati we have to develop over the time. Okay. Here Krishna himself is telling message here that birth and death cannot be achieved other than taking the shelter of Almighty Lord Krishna, original source of all creations. It is indicated here the cycle of birth death cannot be stopped unless one is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. Right? This birth, death, life cycle cannot be stopped by ourselves only until you take the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Harim vina naiva strim taranti. One cannot surpass the cycle of birth and death unless one is favored with the Supreme Lord. Krishna can only give that benediction. Then you may ask that no one cannot, this same concept is confirmed here with one may take the system of understanding absolute truth by one's own imperfect sensory speculation, or may try to realize by self or by the yogic mystic process. But whatever one may do, unless he comes to the point of serving the Supreme Lord, he cannot get the liberation. Then again, therefore, yesterday explained the definition of the liberation. The liberation means a living entity when they are situated in the constitutional position, that is called liberation. It's not that somebody people think liberation means, okay, let me take different birth, this one. No. And also, death is not a solution for the liberation. When you die, if you don't have enough fire credits to go back to Godhead, then we make one more body. That means one more suffering coming. We think, okay, I did this one. When I die, I get the liberation. No, liberation doesn't happen that way. Liberation means when you're situated in your constitutional position is called liberation. While living also, you can get liberated. How? Rupa Goswami Prabhupada writes, Karmana manasa gira jivan muktasya uchyate. By karma, by action, karma manaha, by mind, giraha, by words, within Krishna consciousness and aligned with Krishna's interest, then you're all liberated, nothing to be worried. Okay, that's our liberation. But that liberation doesn't come by speculation, mental concoction. All these things are Mayavadic philosophy of becoming one with the Supreme Lord or focusing on the Brahmajyoti of the Supreme Lord. None of these things would work. Only works is that um, devotional service to Krishna. And that also, devotional service doesn't come if, for example, we're all trying to be devotees in this lifetime. We're accepting Krishna as the Supreme, right? And accepting Krishna as the Supreme doesn't come in one lifetime. Prabhupada writes here in the 6th chapter, there's a one called Bahunam Janma Namante Jnanavan Mam Prapachade Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudarlabha. After taking many lifetimes, okay, we will be Mayavadis, then we'll be Brahmavadis, we are Shunyavadis, we are this Vadi, we'll be all those taking, then we've taken so many millions of lifetimes, and in none of the lifetimes we achieved perfection of the devotional service. Now, after taking so many lifetimes, after learning so much, now we again came this lifetime as a human form of the life. Now, in this life, we're accepting Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada writes in some of the purports, accepting Krishna as the Supreme itself is a liberation. Means your liberation process started. It may take a certain time to achieve perfection, but your process to the liberation, it means your process to the constitutional position has been started. It's not 100% done. That is what it is explained here by taking many lifetimes. So here, if you look at the answer is given by Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma and other demigods prayed to the Lord Krishna when he was in the womb of Mother Devaki. My dear lotus-eyed Lord, there are persons who are puffed up with the thought that they have become liberated or one with the God but they are unintelligent. Prabhupada writes that all the people who doesn't accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord is unintelligent. Okay. Then, without surrendering, one cannot achieve liberation. Look at that. When you say surrendering means, as I said, accepting the will of the Lord is a surrender process. We don't go with our laundry list of items to Krishna. Whatever Krishna says, whatever in the Bhagavad Gita was explained by Krishna, accepting that itself is a process of liberation. But why? What is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam? Manmana mad bhakto madhyajima namaskaro. Or he is telling that Sarvadharman Bharatiyajam Amekam Sharanam Raja. If you follow these rules, regulations, what he gave, that is the liberation. That is surrender process. That surrender process leads us to liberation. That means it will keeps us in the devotional service all the time, 24 by 7. That is called liberation. That is our constitutional position of a Jivatma, living entity. Those are puffed up, thinking themselves liberated by some non-devotional process are not intelligent because they have not yet surrendered unto the Supreme Lord. Some people with a mental concoction, philosophical speculation, they do some other process, non-devotional processes, but none of them would work. Only devotional practice to Krishna would work. In spite of executing all kinds of austerities and penance, a lot of people do meditation, this, that, without doing devotional service. They say, close the room, they do breathing exercises, this exercise, that exercise, all these things, but none of them would work except devotional practice using our senses to Krishna. And what is the beauty of doing, why senses have to be used? Rishikeshena Rishikesha Sevanam, Atha Sri Krishna Namadi, Nabhavet Graham Indriya. Right? So, what happens is our senses are so blunt, but when you use our senses, sharpen our senses, and you realize Krishna to the sensory actions. That is a devotional service. We need to use our senses for the master of the senses. Rishikeshena, Rishikesha Sevanam. Krishna is the master of the senses. He is called Rishikesha. And we are part and parcel of Lord Sri Krishna. When we try to satisfy Krishna's senses, our senses automatically get satisfied. Why? Because we are part and parcel of Lord Sri Krishna. So that is the whole secret of the devotional practice. Parama Vidya, Parama Goyam, Pavitra Mudamuttamam. Parama secret, topmost secret Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us. What is that? Jivere Swarupai Krishna Nityadas. That's the topmost secret. You are part and parcel of Lord Sri Krishna. You have to serve him. That is the secret. If that is done, then we are all set to go back to our liberated process, which is the situated in the constitution of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are people who take the Brahman realization, then Paramatma relation. Absolute reality, Krishna can be realized in three different ways: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti, iti sabhyate. But Brahman realization and Paramatma realizations are partial realizations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Partial realizations. Bhagavan realization is direct devotional service to Krishna, is a pure devotional service which leads us to a perfect liberation. Right? And the Mayavadis, they look at the effulgent of Brahman coming from the Supreme Lord. They think that is the ultimate source of the Supreme Lord. They don't believe in the personal existence of the Supreme Lord, etc. But we have gone through all the stages. Now we came to the last life for us, that accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And with that, situated in the constitutional position, we can get liberated. And liberation for the devotees doesn't mean only going back to Godhead. Liberation means you can the material world or spiritual world or some other planets, as I explained. It doesn't matter. As long as in the service of the Krishna, that you are liberated. Liberation doesn't mean that, oh, I have to die and go back to Krishna. No, those things doesn't work. Death is only, again, painful process, right? Again, death means you're taking other body. Other body could be non-human form of the body. Then it's a more pain. More pain. That's why the four basic problems, the birth, death, old age, and disease, these are the four real problems, can be solved. That's what I say. India has a solution for birth, death, old age, and disease. No other country has that solution to these four problems. Only India has this problem solution for these problems: birth, death, old age, disease. What is the medical industry for solve this problem? Spirituality. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. They give solutions to birth, death, old age, disease. Okay, we have the solution. The solution is simply surrender to the process of Krishna and take shelter of Krishna, and these four problems will be solved forever. Okay, without surrendering, we cannot achieve liberation here. So here also, one should not be satisfied simply by knowing that is Brahman. He must engage himself in the service of the Supreme Brahman, that is Bhakti. Right? Not just Thinking Krishna is a light, this light, that light doesn't work out that way. Krishna is the supreme Brahman. We are Brahman, he is a Param Brahman. Right? So Brahman has to serve the Param Brahman, the supreme, that is called bhakti, service. So there is a service. The moment you take Krishna as a person, the service accept comes into picture. I have to assume that Mayavadis think that Krishna is a light, or yogis think Krishna is a partial mini version of Krishna, whatever. Those things are not perfect realizations. When you do that, you cannot achieve the final destination of serving the Supreme Lord in a liberated process. Krishna is a person, and we have relationship with him. Five mellows Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained. Then, with that bhakti process, we can get permanent liberation from birth, death, old age, and disease. The engagement of Brahman should be service of the Param Brahman. It is said that unless one becomes Brahman, we cannot serve Brahman. That is Param Brahman. The Supreme Brahman is the Supreme Personality. Yeah? Who is Brahman? Lord Sri Krishna. The living entity is also Brahman. We are Brahman. Without realizing that he is Brahman, spirit soul, that's why we are the soul, not the body. That is realization of the Brahman. With that, what we do, I am not this body, I am the soul. With that soul, you connect to Super Soul, who is Lord Sri Krishna, sitting in everybody's heart. Connect to that one. That is the whole process. If one simply thinks that he is Brahman, his relation is only theoretical, he has to realize that at the same time engage himself in devotional service of the Lord, that he can exist in the Brahman status. Otherwise, it falls down. So without service, fall down starts. Then the Bhagavatam says that because non-devotees neglect transcendental loving service of the lotus feet of the Lord, their negligence is not pure, and therefore they fall down. Even for us also, service has to be implemented. Even we chant, we read Shastra, etc., service aspect has to be introduced. When the service aspect is introduced anytime, once in a week in the temple, like half an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever service we can make, that service attitude gives the realizations of what we do. When we chant Maha Mantra, that is also service, but the physical activity of service needs to be, because we are not like Paramahamsas that just through chanting we can realize Krishna. We are not there yet, because we are mostly Grihastha's life. We do karma mishra bhakti. So what we need to do is, with our chanting and reading Bhagavatam, we have to implement the service attitude. With that service, the realizations would come. Okay, and that's how it's very important. Otherwise, just theoretical knowledge would fall down. The living entity must have some activity. If he does not engage in the activity of transcendental service, he must fall down to the material activity. See, we have an attitude of serving someone, right? Whether if you don't serve Krishna, we serve Maya. Prabhupada writes, by default, we serve Maya. If you don't serve Krishna, by default, we serve Maya. That's why it's always be engaged in transcendental loving service to Krishna rather than serving Maya. We think I am taking care of my family, my immediate family, my society, my community, my country, etc. All these isms are basically have no meaning if you don't put Krishna in the center. Because every living entity connected to Krishna. But if you are doing connectivity, these services without Krishna, then you are doing pure material activity. Everybody has a attitude to serve someone, right? And that someone could be some X, Y person, but serving that person is just a material activity, right? But the same service on behalf of Krishna, if it is done, that becomes the devotional service. For example, we do preaching to this one, right? We help so many people come to Krishna consciousness. So that activity should be done with the involvement of Lord Sri Krishna. As soon as one falls down middle activity, there is no rescue from the cycle of birth and death. The whole purpose is, when you do material activities, what is that? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, samprapte sanhiti kale. Shankaracharya writes that if simple activity are performing, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, birth, death, and also birth, that is not an easy process, right? We have to if you get a human form of the body, sometimes it is nice. Sometimes if you take body somewhere else in some other very poor countries, then becomes eating two times it becomes a problem. But fortunately, by the grace of the Lord, we all have taken nice birth, nice families, nice background is there. But how to preserve this nicety going forward? We don't want to become again a human form of the some animal species. 8.4 million species are there, and we have chances of getting any body depending upon our proclivities and inclinations. Whatever the inclination you have, Krishna gives that body. Yam yam yapi smaran bhavam tyajevante kalevaram. That body will be given to us. That's why develop a habit that I want to serve Krishna. Then you get that type of body in the next lifetime. It's not rocket science to understand. Whatever desires we have, and our fictitious body is already building upon based upon our desires. Our fictitious body is building based upon our desires. But our desires are aligned with Krishna's desires, we are building up the spiritual body. If our desires are not aligned with the spirituality of the Krishna, what he says, we are building a body which could be whatever desire you have, strong desire. For example, you have a strong desire of eating a lot of some people have every meal they eat a meat. Without a meat, their meals cannot go. So they love so much meat, and at the time of death also they want to eat meat and their desire is so much involved, then the inclination is to that one. Then Krishna is impartial. Krishna never partial to anyone. Whatever desires we have, he will grant. He is like a judge, he gives a fair judgment. Okay, beta, you have this much desire, take that desire needs this body. And there are 8.4 million desires on this creation. And for each desire, Krishna created one apartment, one body. You have 8.4 million apartments are there. Each desire has a one apartment. Okay, you have for example, I have a lot of desire to eat meat, you get a lion body. Okay, that apartment. Like that, we have 8.4 million desires. Krishna created all these bodies. He's helping us because you what you want, I'm giving you. I'm not partial to anyone. But Krishna, I want this one. Okay, whatever consciousness we acquire at the time of death is providing that type of body. That's why what we do is, Krishna, I don't want another body because suffering is enough for me. I want your body, your type of body. That case, Krishna, okay, fine. So we are doing Krishna service. And we get our spiritual body. That's our desire is. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajevanta kalevaram. And in other words, whatever we have the body right now, it's a resultant of all previous actions, what we have performed. This body is given to us. And how to utilize this body? There's a chance we may fall down at any stage. We have to safeguard this given body through surrender process to Krishna by doing devotional service. It's also come Bhagavad Gita that the Lord is equal to everyone. No one is his enemy and no one is friend. But one who surrenders unto him is specially inclined. He is favorable to his devotees. Why? Because devotees worship him. Right? By the grace of the Lord, simply by surrendering unto him, one can get out of his cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, he may go on in many, many lives, many times attempt process of liberation. So the liberation doesn't come easily. We have to go so many lifetimes, etc. Okay. So, and Prabhupada explaining, presently we are so dull and foolish, we do not know what is Bhayam and Tivram. The mean Tivram means very terrible. Bhayam means very fearsome. We are all in the emergency situation here in the material world. This world is like a hospital. This where we are living. We are in the emergency situation. Why it's emergency? We don't have much time. We have very short time left for us to escape from this world. It's very fearsome if you hear the story, really. I have only 20, 30 years more. That's it. I have to make it to my way to back to Godhead or for the liberation. And it's very thief and very terrible. We're entangled, very terrible fear, but we have become so dull under the spell of Maya. We do not care. Time of death, there are many troubles. Becomes very fearful. Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj wrote a book called Death. In that, Maharaj explains that death is so painful that when we die, when before death, the death pain is like thousand scorpions biting at the same time is a fearful death. That painful death is. Then we have to come out of that. That painful. So birth is also painful. Birth is not an easy thing. Did you hear anything in the world? Somebody took a birth and so while taking birth, somebody is laughing. Everybody cries when they take the birth. First we ask, did baby cry? It means he starts crying from the birth until death he's crying. This world is Dukkalayam, Ashwashvatam. Prabhupada explains beautifully in Bhagavad Gita, right? Dukkalayam. No case in the history that somebody took a birth and while he's laughing. No, everybody cries when they took the birth. Why? Crying starts from day one. Why? This world is miserable, temporary. And only the best bargain here is that taking the shelter of Krishna. Krishna mercifully came and he gave his literature and his information to come back to him. And Prabhupada explains, one, when the mother's womb, one becomes packed in a bag, and this bag is filled with stool and urine, and one has to remain packed until 9 months. When we are in the mother's womb, mother's stomach is this much. In that womb, we are 9 months, we are suffering in that. And when we are in the mother's womb, we pray to Krishna, relieve me from this pressure. When I come out of mother's womb, I'll become your devotee. I'll pray you. I will come back to Godhead. We do all these false promises to Krishna in the mother's womb. As soon as we come out of mother's womb, out of that, we forget everything because of the association of this matter, material world. By three modes of material nature are very powerful. They make you forget everything what you promised to Krishna in the mother's womb. And then our real pain, real suffering begins from there. Here Prabhupada writes how, as an infant, he cries and he is totally dependent on his mother's mercy. Sometimes mother cannot understand what child. For example, we are a small child, 3 months, 4 months, we are crying. Maybe aunt is biting us. Mother thinks, oh, my baby is hungry. It means taking birth and growing up, it's not easy. Again, you have to go to LKG, UKG, again first class, 10th class. Again, you have to go through all, assuming that you become a human form of life. This cycle keeps on going. Are you not tired? Because luckily we don't remember what we have done. We think every life is an enjoyment. What we try to do that, oh, this is a problem. After some time, we try to adjust to the problems. Then we accept the problems. Then we misconstrue problems as a happiness and we start living. That's how our lives are all just we surrender and we think I am happy now. We misconstrue unhappiness as a happiness. Oh, I am very happy now. Though we are not happy, you pretend you're trying to be happy. That's the material world is. We are being attacked at the moment after another. Yet people close their eyes to birth, old age, and disease and death. The atheists want to forget these miseries, and therefore they like to think there is no life after this. Some people think, "Ek hi life hai, enjoy karo, do whatever nonsense you can do," but that's not true. They are like ostriches who stick their head in the ground when enemy approaches. They just approaches and they take one more life. Different species, different lokas, different universes they travel. All the living entity in the womb promised to worship Krishna, as I said. Delivered from the womb, it does not fulfill his promise. We say in mother womb, my dear Krishna, I am so pressed, dear. The mother, I don't have enough space here to move. And with the stool, urine, and mother's womb, we say, but we promise to Krishna. And that's why one of the he may have some temporary facilities, but main problem still there, that is birth and death. Every minute, every second, people are dying, going to hemorrhagia. We see so many people. We go to some funerals, but we come back and we forget everything. We think we are going to live forever. That's one of the sayings the Dharmaraj, Yudhishthira Maharaj said that this was the most amazing in the world. What everybody thinks, I'm not going to die. That's the most amazing thing in the world. That's how we are all thinking. No one thinks that he is going to die, although everyone else is dying. We see so many things happening, but we don't accept that I am going to die one day. We pretend, we act, I'm going to live for 1,000 years. And we postpone things indefinitely. The living entity thinks he is happy in whatever body he gets. And we have examples how Indradeva was given a body of a pig by by his spiritual master's curse, Bruhaspati, he was given a pig's body, right? And his time was over. Narada Muni came and said, Dear Indraji, you are the king of heaven. Now we are in the hog's pig's body. You want to come? He said, No, don't disturb me. I'm enjoying my life here. I have a pig's wife, pig kids, etc. Everybody is there. I have so much nice mud eating here. I don't want to come to heaven clean. I don't care. Okay, this is a situation where we are. We have a spiritual world waiting for us. Everything made of chintamani prakara sadma shukalpa vriksha. Lakshavater surabhi abhipalayantam. Lakshmi sahasra satasambram sevyamanam. Millions of Lakshmi. We can see all with our eye, witness with our eyes in spiritual worlds. But we are feeling happy in the material. We don't want to go. No, I'm happy here. Don't disturb me, please. Don't tell me about Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam. I'm not interested. I'm very happy. I have a good bank balance. I have a nice wife and nice kids. I'm eating nice this thing. Please don't disturb me. Like Indradeva, I have a piglet. I have a wife. I have a nice kids. Don't disturb me. Don't ask me to come to heaven. What is there in the heaven? So that is the misconception. That is the illusion we are living in this world. Illusion, right? There's no possibility of being liberated from suffering without taking shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. This one line is enough for us. There is no possibility of being liberated from suffering without taking shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. We will look for liberation, liberation, liberation. मुझे शांति चाहिए, मुझे शांति चाहिए. शांति मिलेगा नहीं unless you are connected to Krishna and his devotees. Right? People are thinking they can relieve suffering through abortion by killing child within the womb. In this way, they are committing one sin after another, becoming more and more entangled. It is like a vicious circle. Vicious circle. One pop leads to other pop leads to other pop. We all eat popcorn. We don't eat punya corn. When you go to movie, we want a popcorn. There's no punya corn. We want a pop music. We don't want a good music. Pop music. All pop. All sinful. Pop means sin. Pop music. Popcorn, pop, 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 and eat entering and pop, 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 pop. In this way, one dies, takes birth, and suffers, dies again. This circle goes on, my dear devotees. We have so many desires. We want to become a president in White House, right? But if you don't deserve the body of a human being, you become a cockroach in the White House. Yeah, your desire is fulfilled. We need to acquire at least to get the human form of the body. That's only through devotional practice surrendered to Krishna. Krishna gives example in 2.40. Neha Abhikramana Tosti Pratyavayana Vidyate Spalpam Apyasi Dharma Satrayate Mahadavaya. A small amount of devotion you do for me, you deserve a human body next lifetime, and you carry whatever you left from there. That guarantee is given to us. And we are not serious. We are not interested about Krishna. We are interested. We want to put our agenda in front of Krishna. Forget about Krishna. This is my agenda. I'm very smart, I'm at a PhD in mathematics, My agenda is this one. That ahankara, false ego, is putting us back again and again and again in this material world. But we are not realizing that. That's a sad part of it. Even though Prabhupada, at the age of 69, he came to this country, given this wonderful information, but we are not in a position to accept it because our false ego. Why Krishna? Why not me? Yet Krishna and his devotees are so kind and compassionate that they are unhappy to see all misery of this material world. Krishna is the father of all beings. So we try to come with the preaching process. We have to come bhakti rikshas, invite people for programs. Okay, and Krishna gives so much sense his devotees to see to unwind the unhappiness of his son suffering in the material world. But we take it so easy. We are not interested. Krishna therefore comes and canvasses. Why are you captivated by this false so-called happiness? Give up all this and surrender to me. Come to me and I will relieve you. You will then live happily, eternally, blissfully. Sat Chit Ananda is given, but we are not interested. We wanted to serve our own senses, enjoy. Because the sense enjoyment, as you enjoy more, you want more and more and more. But sense controlling is very important. You get the happiness by controlling the senses, not by engaging the senses. Remember that point in devotional service. When controlling the senses, you get the pleasure out of it, not by engaging the senses. You engage senses, it want more, 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 it finish your life there. But when you control the senses, that's a where real happiness exists, controlling the senses. That's why we do Ekadasi. We do vratas, we do upavasas, etc., to control our senses and get to the platform where we belong to. Urge your desires. That's the way to control your desires, so that we can focus on the spirituality. That's what there's given. We get Jnata Sukriti and Ajnata Sukriti. Ajnata Sukriti comes. Jnata Sukriti comes by known Ekadashis. These are very essential for devotees to follow. You acquire pious spirits. Ekadashi must be followed by every Vaishnava, regardless of background, ethnicity. Ekadashi is so important. Madhavatiti Bhakti Janani. When you follow that, it gives bhakti also. Ekadashis are very, very. Every other week we get Ekadashi. At least eat Ekadashi prasadam if you're not fasting. Eat Ekadashi prasadam. No beans, no grains. Right? Krishna comes one day of Brahma. How many times Krishna comes in the one day of Brahma? Only one time. What is the how many yuga cycles we have in Brahma's life? 1000 yuga cycles. Sahasra yuga paryantam. In one day of Brahma, 1000 yuga cycles are there. One yuga cycle is Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is 432, times 2 is Dwapara, times 3 is Treta, times 4 is Satya. If you all of them done one yuga cycle. Like that, I have 1000 yuga cycles in one day of Brahma. In that one day of Brahma, 1000 yuga cycles, Krishna comes only one time. That happened to be this Dwapara Yuga. How lucky we are, how close we are to Krishna. Just it as if like a yesterday, if you compare the Brahma's life cycle. And whenever Lord Krishna comes in the day of Brahma, following Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. That happened to be this Chaitanya Yuga. It means it's just like a few hours back when you take the Brahma's life cycle. So it means that we are so close to Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their instructions, and it's like a just it happened yesterday or 2, 3 hours back. And we have to take this information very seriously. We are so close to Krishna. And Krishna gave all these. And Krishna sent his devotees, Kapila Deva taught to his mother. Through his mother, he's teaching devotional practice. There's no other way to look at that. Here in Kapila Deva says that one is condemned to death unless he takes shelter of the Lord. Everywhere the word comes is shelter, Sharanagati. There's no other way to be saved. We think I can do this way. My friend, I have a lot of good friends. They will take care of me. I have a lot of, I have my son, my daughter, this, that. Nobody comes. Three things, three facts about death. First one is death is inevitable. Death can come anytime to anyone. Second one is um, uh, death can come anytime. Death is inevitable. Death can come anytime. And when you die alone. Nobody comes with you, my dear devotees. When you know these three facts, you start chanting immediately. Why? Because nothing in your control. Mrityu Devata can come anytime. Durlabho manusho deho, dehi nam kshanabhangaram. Tatrabi durlabham manya vaikunta priyadarshanam. Take the shelter of the devotees of the Lord. That's the only way you save your life. Nothing else. We all have to die one day, no big deal. Maybe you live 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, we have to leave one day. This is not our permanent home. That's why we are living here. If this is our permanent home, we will be staying here. Because this is temporary, we are leaving this. Where is our permanent home? Back home, back to, or wherever Krishna is worshipped, that is our place, our home. Right? If we want to relieve from our dangerous situation, we have to surrender to, look at that. How many times Prabhupada is using word surrender? If you want to relieve from our dangerous situation, we have to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and revive our old connection with Him. We had a connection, old, that's why Prabhupada was using word old connection. We had a connection with Krishna. Then we wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna with our senses. That's why it's called old connection. To revive our lost consciousness or lost relationship with Krishna, that is a devotional practice. We had a relation. Every living entity on this planet has a relationship with Krishna. And we've forgotten. That relationship revived when you connect to Krishna. That's what called Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha, who are you, who is Krishna, and what is the relationship with Krishna? That is revealed at the advanced stage of the devotional practice to Krishna. Okay, what is this connection? We are all his eternal servants. We should not foolishly think that we can become one with the God. Again, this is a different story. One we becoming the God. This devotee doesn't have any desire to become one with the God, living on the same planet, etc., etc. No, devotee has only one desire to serve Krishna selflessly. अहेत्वकी सवैपुंसां परो धर्मो यथो भक्तिरदोक्षजे अहेत्वकी अप्रतिहता यायात्म सुप्रसिद्धति. What gives the best happiness to the whole soul? When we serve Krishna, ahetvaki apratihata, unconditional, unmotivated love has to be there. That's the only what gives a satisfaction. You try to help someone and how happy you feel, small help you do it. When you do that for Krishna, it gives eternal peace. You don't have to do anything else in the creation. Unconditional, unmotivated. But we go with the long list to Krishna. Okay, if you do this one, I'll do this one. If you give me $1 million, I'll give you $500,000. Why Krishna has to give you $1 million? Why you have to give him everything Krishna keep himself, right? We're so foolish. We are so mean that we go to Krishna, Tirupati Hundi, you gave me 10 million, I put 1 million Hundi. Why Balaji can keep all 10 millions with him? Why he has to give 10 million? Why he has to take back 1 million? How business we do with Krishna? That's our mentality. We have been associated with the matter millions of lifetimes. It's very tough to forget. Right? There is affection between master and servant, son of the father. The father also serves. The way when you serve right to Krishna, Krishna doesn't keep anything you give. He gives you back. It's a mother-father relationship. Father and son relationships. Okay. Here, people are still thinking, I am independent. I am no one's servant. I have become God. I have become Bhagavan. I am this. I am that. All falsely identifying yourself. Right? We don't accept ultimate reality who Krishna is. That's our problem. Why problem? Because our association is associated the matter with the so many lifetimes. Even still, we don't have 100% faith in Krishna. At least I want to say honestly, I don't have 100% faith in Krishna. Why? Because our association the matter has taken so much. It takes, and to unlearn that process, it takes long time. Maybe this lifetime not, maybe next lifetime not, maybe 3, 4 lifetimes it could be. But our endeavorment has to be there to achieve that. Okay. So, ultimately, I was reading, we'll go to the next shloka here, same from the chapter. It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of here. So Krishna is telling that how he controls everything. Also in the Bhagavad Gita, there is the 7th chapter also, there are a lot of things like, I am the taste of the water and sun is working under my direction. Savita, the ones kind the supremacy, wind blows. Okay, out of Krishna's permission, and sun shines out of ear of me, and the lords of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of ear of me, fire burns out of ear of me, and death goes about taking its toll out of ear of me. Everything is controlled by Krishna. That's why Brahma Brahma lives 100 years. That is equivalent to 311 trillion years, something. I think Bhagavad Gita 8th chapter it is clearly given. 311 trillion years, Brahma lives. But at the end of the day, Brahma has to die. And Brahma, out of fear, he knows that he has to die. Out of fear, he writes Brahma Samhita and is totally engaged in Krishna's service. And he gave one shloka, I recite every time, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana. He gave all opulences of Krishna in one shloka out of fear. Oh my God, I'm going to die. I have to glorify Supreme Lord. But Brahma Samhita, he clearly glorified the Supreme Lord. But he's going to live for how many? 311 trillion years. Calculate in our human time scale. But we are not going to live 100 years. Probably 90. If you really live 90, then we'll be happiest. And if 100 years, then all the newspapers would come and interview, Prabhuji, what did you eat? You live 100 years. What did you eat? What did you do? Etc. Etc. So even we don't live 100 years properly, we have so many plans as if we are going to live for 1,000 years in this creation. We plan so much material comfortably living. But what is the chance? How comfortable we are going to live here? Maybe next 30, 40 years, we are gone. All of us in our age, who are 40s, 50s, maybe next 30, 40 years, we are out of this. That's it. We are no more here. That's a fact. Going is fact. Staying is not fact. But which is not fact, we are planning so much for that one. Let me have this, let me have comfortably living, comfortably living. And what guarantee is there you're living comfortably? Maybe 20, 30 years. But for sure you are going to die. What are you planning for that one? Where you want to go after my death? Hmm? Where what I'm going to become next lifetime? People there don't think, man, this is too much to think. Don't bother me. Let me enjoy my life. This weekend, I'm going for movie. Please don't disturb me, probably. That is too far for me. That's called Prabhupada rights. Unintelligent people. Going is for death. What is that in English? For death is for sure, something like that, right? Which is for sure we don't work, which is not sure we work very hard. Of course, I'm not saying that give up everything. There's a minimum thing we need to live, we need to have a house, we have a care of kids, etc., etc. But over endeavorment. And also we have to spend some time for spirituality. What is our actually we should spend all time for spirituality, but we have taken the grahastha ashrama, then we have to feed our family. That also becomes devotional service when you involve Krishna in every aspect. That is called Yukta Vairagya by Rupa Goswami. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagya Muchyate. Connect everything to Krishna. Surrender to Krishna's lotus feet. That's the only way we can make out of here. Others are devotees. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, samprapte sanhiti kale, nahi rakshati. Nothing saves us from this material. So this is the information given by uh, uh, Kapila Deva to Mother Deva. She's asking, what is the reason for suffering in this world? That's a question she put. What is the reason for suffering in this world? He says bandhan, attachment. Attachment is the cause that we come back again and again. Attachment to anything. Even an iota of desire in your brain that I want to do enjoy something, you are for sure you are going to get the body, whatever desire that fulfills. That kind of body Krishna awards. Krishna is very impartial. Whatever you ask, he will give you. That's why you should be very careful what you ask from Krishna. Okay. So dear devotees, 801, I took little extra time. It's very hard, as you said, summarize this, but the message is that so bhakti process, surrender process, Sharanagati. Bhakti talk beautifully says that accept the will of the Lord. That is Sharanagati. Whatever comes in my way, I'll accept. Yes, it's a mercy of the Lord. When you accept, that really becomes a mercy, even though Krishna is absolute. Whatever negativities in our life, will accept it, right? Yeah, Krishna, this is my fate. Everything happens for the reason. We know that basically the karma siddhanta. What is that karma? Rupa Goswami Prabhupada explains, aprarabdam phalam papam bijam kutam phalonmukam karmaneya phaliyate Vishnu bhakti pratatmanam. Prarabdha karma, which is manifested, aprarabdha, which is yet to be manifested. Everything will be nullified by Krishna Bhakti, Vishnu Bhakti Pratatmanam. So that we have to develop, that we have to inculcate the habit of. There's only one line, Paribhasha Sutra of Sri Bhagavad Gita. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That one line is sufficiently enough. Whatever situation in the Grihastha life, you're working, you're doing this, that, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That easy to say, hard to practice. But we have to practice. Because we never practice chanting when we were children. We don't know about Krishna consciousness. We are doing now because that's okay. Habit causes remembrance. Remember, habit causes remembrance. If you make a habit that makes remembrance, then you start doing those things. At the same time, desired mind is a disturbed mind. So our desires have to be minimized. My desire is to only serve the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. That has to be developed. That's the only way, only way. There's no shortcuts for Krishna's service. Some people think, oh, I can do this, that, I can fool Krishna. You cannot fool Krishna. Try to pretend, nothing wrong in pretension. Why? Krishna accepts. Krishna is very innocent. He will pretend he thinks, oh, he's really doing good for me. He pretend in front of Krishna, nothing wrong. Mother Putana pretended as a mother. Krishna believed it and gave the Goloka Vrindavan destination. Because Krishna, even if pretend, Krishna accepted. Try to be pretend like a devotee. Nothing wrong in that. Wear dhoti, tilak, and pretend like a devotee. That pretension becomes reality after some time. That's the surrender process. Okay, I'll stop here, my dear devotees. If you have any questions or any reflections, I would like to hear from all of you. And it's very hard to cover points here, but this is again third canto, 25th chapter in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada took all the slokas, and please read that chapter. That's called Glories of Devotional Service chapter by within the Bhagavatam. So such a beautiful, beautiful. You read every day that chapter, you will never get satisfied. So much nectar in that chapter. Okay, I'll stop here. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandatam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Very nicely explained, Prabhuji. Very important chapter for Grihastha. What Kapil Muni is explaining to Mother Devhuti. I like that point, Prabhuji, when we surrender, like Sarva Dharman Parityajya, totally surrender, that is itself a liberation.
Right.
Even, yeah, when sometimes in our day-to-day life also, sometimes we feel like without Krishna, our life is nothing. Means if sometimes we sit and think about that, if Krishna is not there with us, then there is nothing. We feel it's a illusion. Everything is illusion. People are thinking it's enjoyment and all that. But our life, in case of Vaishnavas, like since so many years we are just chanting and hearing, so we can't survive without him now, right? And totally surrender. Sometimes we say, okay, now whatever you want to do, you do it. And sometimes we desire something, and we get it in couple of days or in a week. So it's a liberation, right? It's like Chintamani. Means we are Krishna is with us almost, right? So I really like that point, Prabhuji, what you said. Liberation is a state of mind. We can feel liberated here also. After death, we'll go to Goloka Dham or somewhere, I don't know. But here also we can feel Krishna's
That's
presence.
what Rupa Goswami says. Karmana manasa gira jivan mukta se vijite. By body, mind, words, if you follow, you are already liberated here itself.
Yeah, very true, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I really like that point.
Thank you so much.
Hari bol, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. By hearing you, you have really inspired, give a lot of inspiration and courage to surrender Krishna. And you have increased our faith by listening to you.
Thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada,
And
Vijay.
Prabhuji, correct me if I have a right understanding or wrong understanding regarding a limited free will. What you explained initially, limited free will means Krishna gives you two choice. One, you go to the mundane world, or another is to come to me, means to come to Krishna, surrender to Krishna. There are only two choices he gives. If you go to the mundane world, then you have a cause and effect. You have to go through that cycle. If you do bad cause, you get bad effect. If you do good, they get good effect. But if you surrender Krishna, you don't have any bondage.
Right.
You are free from the bondage. So no karma affects you.
Right.
Is
Correct.
that a right understanding I
Yes.
have?
You are
So
absolutely
that
correct.
is why it's called limited choice,
Right.
limited free will.
What happens is in our life, 95% we cannot change anything in our life. Only we have control over only 5%, right? So that 5% also we give it to Krishna. Krishna, I don't want even my free will. Take it. I will surrender 100% to you. I just follow instructions. I'll do it. Means we are also sacrificing our free will to Krishna itself. We are fully depending on Krishna. Then your way to back to God had already started. Don't have to worry for anything. No karma attacks you. Your understanding is perfect, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. It's a nice, really nice. I love to listen.
Prabhupada ki jai. Anything else, dear devotees? Anybody want to correct me if I had misspoken something out of my ignorance? Ashish Prabhu, any questions?
No, Prabhu, you don't tell that this is ignorance. So nicely you explain, and every point is very, very important. Not only important, and actually, this is nectar. Actually, I can tell you that every point you mention, this is the real fact. And Prabhu, and another thing is that birth. Kapila Muni discuss about the birth also, right, Prabhu? So in the chapter, I think the 31 chapter, I think the 31,
Oh,
chapter 31, right, Prabhu?
right. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So that is the how birth is a painful one jivatma. While he is in the he or she in the mother's womb, that is a painful. We don't know about that, but from this Kapila Muni, such a way Bhagavan, he's the incarnation of Bhagavan, right? So,
Yes.
so such a way described, it is very amazing, and not only amazing, we can realize that everything is, I mean, is painful here in this material world, material creation.
Yeah. That's why he said Dukkalayam Ashvashvatam.
Yes, Prabhu.
Apnuvanti Mahatmana Samsiddhim Paramam Gataha. Take my shelter, you come to me. Krishna, time and again, repeating, such a nice way. He is so innocent, Prabhuji. Even if pretend in front of Krishna, I'm your devotee, accepts it. Which God tell me, do that.
Yes, correct. You are totally correct, Prabhu. Just one thing I want to point out. Earlier also I asked another great devotee. So I asked, Prabhu, pure devotee means told that Prabhu, pure devotee stays is like that. You can give uh, pure devotee want to stay with the Lord always in the hell or heaven anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere that is correct. But question is, Prabhu, we are sir, reality is that we are not thinking about the hell. We are always thinking about we will go to the Lord, go back to
Right.
the Godhead. That is our plan, Prabhu. So that way we are not the pure devotee, that is correct. But our desire to go back to Godhead, that is the, because this we know that this is dukhalaya, this is distressful world, this is. So we are never think about the hell and other things. We are always thinking, but we are not the other devotee. For my case at least, Babu, I'm thinking not going to anywhere. Go there.
Right. What happens is, as you progress in the devotional practice, Nishta,
Yeah.
Asakti, um, Bhava, Prema. At that point, what happens is that you will be 100% Krishna. You don't care where you exist. Because now we are, as I said, we are not pure devotees. We are trying to be devotees. We are get feared. Oh, I don't want to be here. I want to go to back home. But as you elevate your consciousness at the level of bhava and we become a pure prema bhakta, at that point you stay here also. You don't feel pain and pleasure of this material world. So
Oh,
your consciousness will get elevated to that level. We are not there yet. We get scared now. But
yes.
when you that level, you don't get scared.
Oh, got it, Babu.
Yeah.
Very nicely explained. Hari Bol, Babu. Dhanavad.
Yeah.
Very nice, Babu. Dhanavad, Pranam. Dhanavad, Pranam to everyone. So one question is that without that level also people are can we Jivatma can get liberation and go back to Godhead or not, Prabhu?
It takes time. It doesn't happen. You have to be on the bhava and prema level. At that point, what happens is you realize your position with Krishna, who you are in the spiritual world, and what is your relationship with Krishna. With that relationship only, we go back to Godhead.
Oh, oh, okay.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave five mellows, right? Uh,
Yes.
uh, Vaschalya, Madhurya, Sakhya, other total five. One relationship we have with Krishna. That will be revealed to you at the Bhava, not Bhava, but Prema level.
Okay.
That will reveal to you.
So
You
those
know
are
who
the,
you are.
yes, Prabhu. So this is the very highest stage.
Oh, Prabhuji, Mahaprabhu, you're a Bengali. I'm just telling. Read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mahaprabhu gave the nectar of it. He gave ultimate what we need.
Yes, Prabhu. I am. I keep a couple of spot I follow, but that was also nectar. But I'll read also. I reading right now Bhagavatam. Almost I think that I'll cover it. After that, I think that I'm thinking that read.
Nectar of it. He
Yes.
gave the ultimate what we need. That's it. But it's up to individuals whether we want to take it or not.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Prabhupada has given everything. In this lifetime, we all can go back to God.
Correct, Prabhu.
Prabhupada, he came at the age of 69. Why he has to come at that age? Out
Yes.
of causeless mercy on living entities, he came.
Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
He's a Jagat Guru.
Yes.
Hmm.
But always your class is you are you are giving such a point, you always always you giving the right point and right things. Not only that, always I think that everything is nectar, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu,
Jai
really.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Jai. Hari Bol, Prabhu.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dana Pranam, August Prabhupada, very
who is
nice class
this?
Prabhuji.
Who is this?
Um, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Anuradha Mataji, Anuradha,
Anuradha
Anuradha
Puri.
Prabhuji.
Anuradha Puri, right? Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
So Prabhuji, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Is that when we have that bhava and prema as the stage before even like if I don't know like there are many relationships that we
Not
can
many, only five.
have
Your voice is breaking, Mataji.
is
You're not able to
yeah
understand.
5 yeah but we as a devotee we are the servant of the Lord, right? But as a um, higher level, right? But as we are devotee we should always think that we are the servant of the Lord, and
Yes.
this power and prema can come in
Later. First, you
later.
start with even at that point also we are the servant of the Lord, but that starts with the servant of the Lord. The devotional practice starts in the advanced stage of bhakti. Then you will realize who you are. In that capacity, start working with Krishna, praying Krishna.
Okay, okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Dandapana
No
Prabhuji.
problem. Prabhuji, you want to wind up, Simeshwar Prabhu? Okay, Prabhuji maybe is in India, right? So, anybody else has any reflections, dear devotees? Or anybody wants to add any points which I may have. It's very difficult to cover all the points, but I just want to give a crux of it. I read whole chapter. It's not possible to cover each and every paragraph here. It takes a long time. It's at least 2 hours class. You want to go each paragraph. Okay. So, okay, I think Prji may be busy. It's already 8:17, folks. Let us everybody unmute, please, and we take the blessings of the Vaishnavacharyas. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patithanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari.
Hari Hari. Thank you, God.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. Hare
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada.